stand with Israel. We stand with Israel.
From Washington,
we will always be there by your side.
To Tel Aviv, America's stance is unflinching as Israel grieves and forcefully retaliates. The United States is offering military aid, hostage recovery experts, and has even moved a carrier strike group to the eastern Mediterranean, a warning shot to parties hostile to Israel like Iran or Lebanon-based Hezbollah. Don't get involved. But for an administration keen to reorient resources away from the Middle East region, it now finds itself, short of boots on the ground, fully engaged again, with no clear path ahead.
I don't think there are any good options that lie before the United States, and the diplomatic option is one that will be deeply complicated by how Israel fights this war.
As Gaza comes under fire, there are US-brokered efforts to arrange a humanitarian corridor for innocent civilians out of the Hamas-ruled enclave, where more than 1,000 people have been killed by airstrikes in recent days. Though scenes like this, some analysts believe, are partly the product of a US government that took its eye off the ball, the focus stateside shifting to ties between Israel and Gulf nations, while resolving Israel-Palestine relations took a back seat.
Over the last 3 or 4 years, we have seen many Arab countries rush to normalize relations with Israel without necessarily addressing any concerns that Palestinians have been calling for the last 7.5 decades.
We entered Gaza in the middle of the night.
In the US, polling suggests sympathy for the Palestinian cause has grown steadily. When it comes to America's commitment to Israel, many are calling for a change of tack.
Is it good for us, the United States, to necessarily back a government like Benjamin Netanyahu's government, whose policies help contribute to these disasters? Should the United States return to the stance of George H.W. Bush, who was considerably harder on Israel in order to bring them to peace negotiations? I think those questions are going to become a great deal more viable in the next year.
But those gathering at this rally here, not far from the White House, are urging the US to stay the course, to continue bolstering Israel after one of the worst terror attacks in history. Whether lawmakers can deliver on Israel's requests for additional assistance may depend on what happens further down Pennsylvania Avenue. Congress is paralyzed, with no House of Representatives speaker at the helm to allow voting on legislation. If the US can't get its own house in order, how can it expect to use its leverage on the international stage? Benji Hyer, CGTN, Washington.